All right, this is going to be the lesson for 1.5, operations with decimals and percents. And so we're going to start with the warm-up question. So go ahead and read through these three questions and just answer them the best you can, just what your gut intuition is, and pause the video, answer them, and then unpause. Okay, so hopefully you've taken some time to think about what the answers to these questions would be. For the first one, I don't even know that we need to do any math with like a calculator or anything, because we have a microwave that's normally $80 and it's on sale and it's 50% off. What would be the sale price? Well, 50% off is essentially half the cost, right? So for this one, we can just say it's $40. Now, what's the math involved with that? Because when I look at the next one, the sale price is 20% off. So how much would we take off that $80 if it's 20% off? And so this problem becomes a little bit harder, because now we have to figure out, okay, what kind of math do we need to do here? So let's go back to this 50%. Now remember, 50% is the same thing as 50 per 100, which is essentially 1/2 when you reduce that fraction down. It is also the same as 0.5. So 0.5, 1/2, and 50% all mean the same thing. Now, when we do calculations, we almost never use the actual percent. We usually use the decimal form or the fraction form. So if we take our $80 and we multiply it times the 1/2, you wind up with 80 over 2, which is 40, and there's your $40. Or if you did the 0.5 and multiplied that, if we do that on a calculator, we will have 80 times 0.5, which once again gives you your 40. So you could use either one, and so when you're looking for like a percent of something, so you're basically saying what part would that be from the whole, you're just going to multiply the original value to whatever percent you're looking at. But you're going to do that either in a fraction form or a decimal form. So if we look at the 20% problem, 20% is 20 out of 100. Now that is a fraction that reduces. You could divide the top and bottom by 20 and get 1/5. You could start cutting them in half and get 10 over 50, which gives 5 over 25. And divide by 5, you get 1/5. We'll just go ahead and use the calculator to go ahead and do this one. So 20 over 100, that gives us our 1/5. So we could try and slowly reduce it by hand, but we're just going to jump to that reduced fraction. So once again, 20% means 20 per 100, which reduces down to 1/5. If you divide it, it's 0.2. You can put 0.20 if you want. That's moving the decimal over twice. Remember, a decimal, if you have 100 in the bottom, that means it's 2 decimal places. So that you can get a 0.2 that way. Or if you do a 1 divided by 5 on your calculator, you also get 0.2. So there's a lot of different ways to get those. And now to actually find the sale price, or what is the sale price at 20% off? Well, to find 20% off, we could do the 1/5 and multiply that 80 by 1/5, which is 80 over 5. And then if we divide 80 by 5, we get 16. Now, that's how much off the price is going to be. So it's important that we look at what we're being asked to find. They want to know the sale price. This is how much you don't have to pay. So you're going to have to do your 80 minus 16 to get $64 as the sale price. You could have also done this as a decimal and multiplied it by 0.2 and also have gotten the 16. And then I picked one that was a little bit harder, 11%. So it won't be as clean of an answer, like a nice whole dollar amount. But the principle is still the same. So 11% is the same thing as 11 out of 100. Or it is the same thing as 0.11. This doesn't reduce. So when I do my 80 times 11 over 100, that's going to give me 880 over 100. And when you divide that, you're going to get an 8.8. If you do an 80 times 0.11, you're going to get an 8.8. So that winds up being how much you're getting off the price. So you're going to have to continue that with the, no, not 64, the original $80, the original price, and you're going to have to subtract 8.8. So 80 minus 8.8. That is going to be a $71.20, and so that'll be your cost, your sale price. All right, so there's just a warm-up talking about how we might use percents. We have very specific ways that we're going to do that. Let's go and take a look at decimals. Now we're going to go through the operations for decimals by hand. I want to make sure that's something that we cover, but the reality is we usually just use calculators for this kind of stuff, and so I'm going to assess your ability to do this on a calculator, but I do want to make sure that we go over how to do this by hand. Whenever you're adding or subtracting decimals, you have to line up the decimal points. So if I do 12.45, the 3.7 has to line up here. We wouldn't put it all the way to the right because these decimals need to line up. These are ones places, right? If we're talking money, and this is $12.45, this would be dollar bills, right? This would be a $10 bill, and then this would be two ones and three ones. So the ones have to line up. These would be like dimes, right? 4 dimes and 7 dimes. So they have to line up. Once we do that, we just start our addition. So we'll go straight down. Boy, that line's really crooked. I know it doesn't matter, but I'd like to make it look a little better. Okay, there we go. So 5, there's nothing to add it to, so it's just a 5. The 7 and the 4, when I add that, I get 11. So I'm going to put my 1 here, and then the other one has to carry over, right? So when I do my 11, here's my 11, but I'm not going to put 2 values in one spot, right? Only one number can go here. So the next number has to carry over. Then we'll add these together, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 1. The decimal continues to go straight down. So that would be our answer for this problem. So anytime you get something that is bigger than 9, it has 2 digits, the first digit's going to carry over to the next column. We can confirm that answer with our calculator, and I do recommend doing this as part of your process because this is what I'm assessing you on, that you can do it with the calculator. All right, so confirm, that's our answer. Now subtraction, you have to line up as well. So for this one, the 456, the decimals have to line up. This is the ones place has to line up, the tenths place has to line up. Go ahead and draw that, and I'll put my minus here. Oh, I forgot to put my plus here. So we are going to be doing subtraction, and we go left to right. Just like we went right to left. Just like we started here and went this way, you have to go this way on it, because when you get something bigger than 10, it has to carry over. If you try to go this way, you'll miss those values that are carrying over. If I did, 1 and then 2 plus 3, I would have had a 5, because I wouldn't have known that this carries over to the next. That's why we go backwards on it. Here, subtraction's the same thing. Now, I can't take 6 away from nothing. I need something there. So I'm going to take this 9, I'm going to make it an 8. Think of this as 9 dimes, right? So I'm going to make it 8 dimes, and then one of those dimes I'm going to turn into 10 pennies. So that's really what I'm doing, is now I have 8 dimes and 10 pennies, still 90 cents, but now I can do my subtraction. 10 minus 6 is 4, 8 minus 5 is 3, and so in each case for this subtraction, we need the number up top to be bigger. If it's not bigger than the one on the bottom, then you're going to have to borrow from the next term over. 8 minus 4, is 4, and then there's nothing to subtract from there. So that's going to be our answer, 1434. I guess we should put our answers in this space since it's provided, and then 1434. All right, let's check to see if we did it right. So we're going to take our 18.9 minus 4.56. That is consistent, so we're good there. All right, let's flip. Now, these are the U-try, so go ahead and do these with the calculator and do them by hand. Pause the video, complete that, and then when you're done, go ahead and unpause. Hopefully you're done with those two problems, and I'm going to go ahead and go over them now. I'm going to go and do this process of doing this by hand. We'll start with the adding. There's nothing to add here to the 2, so this just becomes a 2. 8 plus 5 is 13, so we'll put the 3 down, and then the 1 will carry to the next column. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 more is 11, so we'll put our 1 down, carry the 1 to the next column, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. So this should be 3132 as our answer. We'll confirm that on our calculator. So 23.5 plus 7.82, 3132, confirmed. All right. For the next one, we're doing subtraction. So here, this is a 0, right? So this is smaller, that's fine. 7 minus 0 is just 7, that's fine. But here, I can't take 8 from 0, so I need to borrow. So I'm going to have to take 1 from the 5, make it a 4, and make this into a 10. Now 10 minus 8 is 2, so that works. And then I run into the same issue again. This number on the bottom is bigger than the top, so I'm going to have to borrow here. So we'll take that 6, make it a 5, and we'll add that 10 to the 4 to make a 14. Now I can do a 14 minus 9, which is 5, and a 5 minus 2, which is 3. So that answer should be 3527. Let's confirm. 65.07 minus 29.8, 3527. So that answer is confirmed. Okay, so we'll write that down. All right. So that is the warm-up and the addition subtraction problems. I'm going to stop this video here and then go and continue on to the next one, in which we'll start looking at multiplication.